guys, today I'm going to talk about my top 5 favorite business podcasts. If you want to learn more about what I listen to that has helped with my small business, please keep watching. Here we go. I have been wanting to do this video for a very long time. My husband jokes about me listening to podcasts every single day, and every time I come home I say, hey, today on a podcast I learned about so-and-so, or something about my business, or something that I can incorporate in my business. And he just jokes about it every time because I don't watch much TV now. I don't listen to a lot of music either, which I probably should. I listen to a lot of podcasts. And the reason why is because I do have a lot of commute time from home to daycare to my studio. I have about an hour, and within that hour I can listen to 1 or maybe 2 podcasts. And also I just started running a small business online and I don't know much about it, so I am learning a lot of things as I'm driving. And it's funny because sometimes at the light I will pull out my notebook and I'll write a little note to either listen to later on or something. I have found some really good podcasts and I wanted to share it with you today. I have picked my top favorite 5 small business podcasts, and this can help you whether you have an Etsy site, a little Shopify online store, or it could even help you if you're doing something else, like you're coaching someone, or maybe you're teaching fitness or other things. But hopefully these podcasts will help. Let's get into it. Number 5, I have chose Elise Gets Crafty. Now Elise, she is a mom, she's also a blogger, and she also has a small business. She sells planners, and I have not tried them, but she does sell them and it seems like it's been doing well for her. And also on her Instagram, she has it linked to her blog. She did the 100-day challenge and she's very inspiring. She's very much of a go-getter. While she's being a mom, she's able to put up these podcasts. I think she is now on season 5, but it's a really great podcast for anyone who is beginning a business. She gets a lot of guests and she asks them, you know, how they got started, and just getting little tips and advices from their story. It seems like she has a lot of blogger friends or some fairly popular small business friends. So it's fun to listen to their story while she asks them questions, and then in between she has some input from her small business. So again, it's really great if you're starting a small business and you want to learn more. This podcast is for you. Now for number 4, I have the Etsy Conversation podcast, and that is run by Ijeoma. Her podcast is all about Etsy creators. So all of her guests are people that have an Etsy shop. Now they may just have an Etsy shop, or they may do Etsy and something else, but everyone is Etsy related, and she really does her homework on Etsy. I think she's just really obsessed with it because she's also starting to do something separate. Since Etsy is always updating and adding new things to their shop, it's always changing. It's so fast how much it changes. She is also going to start doing a paid program where I think if you pay her a monthly fee, then you'll get all the Etsy news via podcast, or something that you can listen to instead of always reading their emails. Because if you do have an Etsy store, you will know that they usually send out information about Etsy, whether it's like helpful links or advice for your shop, or what's trending or whatnot. They usually send it out once a week. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 times a week. And even for me, I'm not able to read all of the emails that they send and all of the articles. So something that she's gonna do is she's gonna read it all, and then she'll be able to just speak to you of everything that she read. Yeah, she really does her homework. And she also has a small online business Etsy account as well, so she knows the ins and outs. She has a lot of friends that are doing the Etsy business, and they tell you their stories on how they started and stuff like that. I think it's also a great podcast for beginners for Etsy because you get to hear the stories of these Etsy creators. One of the podcasts that I just listened to today was really helpful. It was about accounting. And being an Etsy creator, you just really want to create and put things out. But if you're there to make it as a business, then you know that accounting has to be really it should be like high on your list of things to do. And even me, like I dread doing it. But this lady who was on, Sarah, I believe that's her name, she had a lot of really good tips, and she also has like a small little course that you can get on Etsy. Anyways, it was really, really good, really helpful, and I totally recommend it. Ijeoma, the only thing about Ijeoma is that you're listening to all these other podcasts, and then all of a sudden the Etsy Conversation podcast comes on, and it's really, really low. The recording level, the volume is really, really low, so you're gonna have to amp it up. But remember to put it back down when the next podcast starts, or else you're gonna be like, ah! Her voice too is very, very calming and soothing. So you're just like listening to it, and then all of a sudden, like it's like, ah, it's done, and you're on to the next podcast. That's the only thing. So number 3 is the Being Boss podcast. Now this is run by Emily Thompson and Kathleen Shannon. These two ladies are already like so hilarious. Not in a bad way, but like they are, listening to them, like you can tell they're like really, they're go-getters. They're really businesswomen. They're really driven. I think they empower each other. They just kind of bring each other up. They live in 2 different states, I believe, but they're able to do this podcast where they interview other small businesses. Now this isn't all just Etsy. They have, you know, they have all kinds actually. They have people that create little events, or they have people that have a little store, or they have like business coaches on. So it's really informative to hear like other things other than Etsy. They also have their own businesses on the side, and I believe it's a lot of coaching based businesses. So this podcast, while you're listening to it, they really help you like focus in on things that you should be looking at, or they help you with habits and routines, and maybe they give you tools that you can use. Another thing that I love is, well, all these podcasts are linked to blogs, but with the Being Boss, they write like the really important quotes that the guests have said, which are really like cool and inspiring. Like if you don't want to read the whole thing, you can just see the little quotes, and they have the links that everyone has talked about. It has been great. They upload once a week, but every now and then they'll upload a mini-sode, and those are usually like 7 to 15 minutes, so it's really quick. They're usually answering questions from their Facebook group. So it's kind of cool because there's a lot of people on there that, you know, have businesses and have questions, and they're able to answer through the podcast. But I guess I don't know yet, but I think what they said is they do answer a lot of those questions on their Facebook group page. So if you become, if you join their Facebook group page, then you're able to see more, and I think they do a lot of Facebook live videos. It seems like. I still haven't joined. I have to get on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook that much. Another thing too is they do Being Boss retreats, and I think it's once a year, and this next one is going to be in New Orleans in August or September. I really want to go. It sounds like a lot of fun. You have a lot of people that are small business owners, and they come together and they learn more, and they're on a retreat, so you're like, you know, away from people, which is kind of, I think it's good for me because you get out of your comfort zone. I've always wanted to go on one of those. So they're having another one this year, and I don't think I'll be able to go this year, but maybe next year, we'll see. And another thing too that I love about them is that they are moms. So they're moms running their businesses, and they have a podcast helping other people. It's really, really great. Number 2, now this is something that if you have an online business, you cannot ignore. It's your social media. So number 2 is the social media marketing podcast. The host for this is Michael Stelzner. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And yeah, he really gets into the nitty-gritty of social media marketing. And every time, it's usually about an hour long, but every time you're like, oh, I just want to hear more. I need the interview to just keep on going because I want to know what's the next step. So it's really, really good, and I have learned so much from this. I thought I knew a lot of social media because like I'm always on it. I'm always like reading what's new, and I'm trying to be on top of it. But when you listen to this podcast, you get so much information within that 1 hour. It's insane. Like yeah, it's just really, really good, and it's something that I think small business owners tend to forget to do because you're so into the creating part, like me. But social media right now is really, really important. If you want to get known or if you want to get any sales, then you really have to focus on social media and target the people that you want to come to your store. So it's really, really good. He interviews experts on social media, so it's not business owners or whatnots. It's people that are doing this as a living. Last week, I believe, it was someone who is a professional and does consulting for a Facebook Live, and that, like, listening to that made me want to do more live videos. Like, it's so true. Everything is going live right now. It's not all about the curated videos that are going up on YouTube. It's all about being real and connecting with your viewers through Facebook Live or Instagram Live or whatnot. Really, really good information. Another thing that I love about his podcast is right in the beginning, they have, I forgot what his name was, but he always has an app that he recommends for businesses, and he always comes up with like really, really great apps. I don't know how he does his research, but I'm sure he's just on it all the time. But I have found like really, really helpful apps through him that are helping me with my business. And these are apps that are sometimes free, sometimes they're $2.99, sometimes they're $8.99, but still, like, that $8.99 is gonna help you the long run instead of not knowing about it at all. So anyways, really, really helpful podcast. Okay, and the number one podcast that I have chosen is How I Built This. And there are a lot of fans about this podcast. It is so great. It is such a great podcast because of the host, Guy Raz. He is interviewing the founders of these businesses that you have heard of. There's some that I thought, like, I'm reading the title, I'm like, I don't know that person, and then you click and you listen to it and you're like, oh, that's the guy or the girl. But they interview the founders of these businesses, and it starts from when they started in the kitchen, when they started in the garage, when they had the idea, and how they came, you know, along and throughout everything to become where they are. And as a small business owner, I think I forget about those things. It's like Whole Foods, you think of it as this major, major brand, but really it was this guy who started a small little supermarket back in the day, and he made it into this amazing, epic thing. The reason why I picked it to be number one is because they're all really inspiring, and the founders of these companies, they talk about their failures, and I think that's something that we should all hear, because they fail but they keep going. And you know, sometimes when you fail or you screw up, you think, oh, I can't do this anymore, and you just want to quit. But when you think about everyone who just kept going and they made it to this epic empire of a business, then it just motivates you to keep going. And it's such a good podcast. Every time I get so excited, I listen to it, I'm like, yes, I need to create more. I have such a dream for this small little shop, and I want it to become something like this. And yeah, it's such a great podcast, really easy to listen to. I highly recommend it, so hopefully you guys will check that podcast out. Alright, you guys, so I just wanted to keep it short and sweet, and hopefully you guys will check out these podcasts. If you have any small business podcasts that you recommend, please write them down in the comments below. I am always on the lookout for new podcasts. There are other podcasts too that I listen to, like for entertainment or for self-help, or I don't know, there's so many actually. So I am thinking of doing another video about just like podcasts that I love in general. So even if you have any of those, please comment them down below. Thank you guys so much for watching till the end, and I will see you very, very soon. All right, bye.